Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the ages, unraveling the mysteries of our collective past. Today, we find ourselves in the vibrant heart of 20th century America, amidst the creative explosion that was the Harlem Renaissance. This pivotal moment in cultural history saw African-American artists, writers, and intellectuals converge upon the storied streets of Harlem, New York, to forge a new identity, one that would forever alter the landscape of American art and literature. As we delve into the origins of this remarkable era, let us transport ourselves to the early 20th century, when the Great Migration was underway, and millions of African Americans were leaving the rural South for the urban North. The year was 1910, and the NAACP had just been founded by W.E.B. Du Bois, Mary White Ovington, and William English Walling, among others. This organization would play a significant role in promoting the rights and cultural expression of African Americans. By 1917, the United States had entered World War I, and many African American soldiers were fighting overseas, while back home, their families faced segregation, racism, and limited opportunities. It was against this backdrop that the Harlem Renaissance began to take shape. In 1919, the 369th Infantry Regiment, an all-black unit, returned from World War I as heroes, marching up Fifth Avenue in New York City. This event marked a turning point in African American history, as it highlighted the contradictions between the sacrifices made by black soldiers and the racism they faced at home. The Harlem Renaissance was, in part, a response to these injustices, as African Americans sought to assert their cultural identity and challenge the status quo. In the early 1920s, Harlem became a hub of artistic and intellectual activity, with writers like Claude McKay, Langston Hughes, and Zora Neale Hurston, and artists like Aaron Douglas and Jacob Lawrence. The neighborhood was home to numerous jazz clubs, theaters, and music venues, where legendary performers like Duke Ellington, Bessie Smith, and Ethel Waters entertained crowds. The iconic Cotton Club, which opened in 1923, became a symbol of Harlem's vibrant nightlife, although its racist door policies and segregated seating areas reflected the era's deep-seated prejudices. Key figures such as James Weldon Johnson, a poet and civil rights activist, played a significant role in shaping the intellectual and artistic landscape of Harlem. His book, The Book of American Negro Poetry, published in 1922, would become a seminal work, introducing African American poetry to a wider audience. We also encounter the likes of Jessie Redmond Fauset, a novelist and editor, who would become a leading voice in the Harlem Renaissance, using her writing to explore themes of identity, racism, and social justice. As we explore the earliest history of the Harlem Renaissance, we find ourselves at the threshold of a momentous era, one that would witness the emergence of some of the most iconic figures in American cultural history. By 1926, the Harlem Renaissance was poised on the cusp of its most fertile period, an epoch that would see the creation of works that continue to inspire and captivate us to this day. The African American community in Harlem faced significant challenges, including racism, segregation, and limited access to education and employment opportunities. Yet, despite these obstacles, they persevered, fostering a vibrant cultural scene that would become a source of pride and inspiration for generations to come. And so, as we conclude our examination of the precursors and origins of the Harlem Renaissance, we find ourselves primed to embark upon the next chapter in this captivating narrative. Join me, dear listeners, as we venture into the heart of this creative explosion, where artistic innovation, collaboration, and self-expression would flourish, giving rise to some of the most remarkable works of American cultural history. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we're delving into the captivating narrative of the Harlem Renaissance. By 1926, the Harlem Renaissance had reached its zenith, with African-American artists, writers, and intellectuals converging upon the storied streets of Harlem to forge a new identity. It's here, in the heart of this vibrant neighborhood, that we find the likes of Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, and Count T. Cullen, whose poetry and prose would give voice to the experiences and struggles of African Americans. Their works, infused with the rhythms and cadences of jazz and blues, would capture the essence of a community striving for self-expression and recognition. The iconic Cotton Club, despite its racist policies, became a hub for legendary performers like Duke Ellington, Bessie Smith, and Ethel Waters, who entertained crowds with their mesmerizing performances. The year 1926 also saw the publication of Langston Hughes' seminal work, The Weary Blues, a collection of poems that explored the African-American experience with unflinching honesty. This was followed by Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God, a novel that would become a masterpiece of 20th century literature. The collaboration between these artists and writers gave rise to some of the most remarkable works of American cultural history, as they drew upon their collective experiences to create something truly innovative and groundbreaking. As we immerse ourselves in this era, we find the likes of Aaron Douglas, Jacob Lawrence, and Romare Bearden, whose artworks would redefine the visual language of African American culture. Their paintings, murals, and sculptures captured the essence of a community in flux, as they navigated the complexities of identity, racism, and social justice. The Harlem Renaissance was not just an artistic movement. It was a cultural phenomenon that sought to challenge the status quo and assert the dignity and worth of African Americans. The year 1927 saw the establishment of the magazine Fire, which became a platform for young writers like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, and Count T. Cullen to showcase their work. This publication, though short-lived, played a significant role in promoting the literary talents of African American writers and cementing the Harlem Renaissance's reputation as a hub of creative innovation. As we explore this pivotal moment in American cultural history, we're struck by the sheer talent, creativity, and perseverance of the individuals who drove the Harlem Renaissance forward. Despite facing racism, segregation, and limited opportunities, they persevered, fostering a vibrant cultural scene that would become a source of pride and inspiration for generations to come. And so, as we conclude our journey through the heart of the Harlem Renaissance, we find ourselves in awe of the artistic innovations, collaborations, and self-expressions that defined this transformative era. The works created during this period continue to captivate us today, offering a testament to the power of art and culture to challenge, inspire, and uplift. Join me next as we explore the lasting legacy of the Harlem Renaissance and its impact on American cultural history. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we're exploring the captivating narrative of the Harlem Renaissance. However, by the mid-1930s, this creative explosion began to wane as the Great Depression took its toll on the community. The economic downturn had a devastating impact on Harlem, with many residents struggling to make ends meet. The Cotton Club, once a hub for legendary performers, began to decline, and many of the iconic venues that had nurtured the Harlem Renaissance closed their doors. Despite these challenges, the legacy of the Harlem Renaissance continued to inspire new generations of artists and writers. One notable example is the work of Langston Hughes, who continued to produce innovative poetry and prose throughout the 1930s. His collection Scottsboro Limited addressed issues of racial injustice, while his novel Not Without Laughter explored the complexities of African American identity. Zora Neale Hurston's anthropological work, particularly her study of hoodoo in the African American community, also demonstrated the enduring impact of the Harlem Renaissance on American cultural history. The Federal Theater Project, established in 1935 as part of the New Deal, provided a new platform for African American artists to showcase their talents. The project's Negro unit produced plays like Macbeth and The Swing Mikado, which featured all-black casts and helped to promote African American theater. This initiative not only preserved the legacy of the Harlem Renaissance, but also paved the way for future generations of artists. As we explore the decline of the Harlem Renaissance, it's essential to acknowledge the role of internal conflicts and criticisms within the community. Some artists, like Claude McKay, began to question the movement's emphasis on racial identity and its limitations in addressing the complexities of African American experience. These debates reflect the ongoing struggle for self-definition and artistic expression that characterized the Harlem Renaissance. The legacy of the Harlem Renaissance extends far beyond its heyday in the 1920s and 1930s. The movement's emphasis on African American cultural expression, its challenge to racial stereotypes, and its promotion of artistic innovation continued to inspire artists, writers, and musicians today. As the poet Countee Cullen once wrote, "The Negro's gift to America is not a thing but a spirit that can be felt but not seen." In conclusion, our journey through the Harlem Renaissance has taken us from its precursors and origins to its zenith and decline. We've witnessed the emergence of iconic figures like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, and Duke Ellington, who gave voice to the experiences and struggles of African Americans. As we reflect on the lasting legacy of this transformative era, we're reminded that the power of art and culture can challenge, inspire, and uplift us, even in the face of adversity. Join me next time as we explore more fascinating stories from history. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.